Hi friends, this is Jessica from the Accent Channel, and I'm here with another American pronunciation lesson for you. In this common word lesson, we're going to practice some words that you might use at a drugstore, also known as a pharmacy. So this is a common word lesson. Try to practice with this lesson every day for 1 week. Practicing the same set of words for a week results in permanent change and permanent improvement, and that is exactly what we're looking for. If you like this lesson and you're ready for longer lessons and a more structured approach to improving your pronunciation, be sure to check out our courses at theaccentchannel.com. You can find the link where you're watching this video. So let's get into the practice. As you practice with me today, be sure to imitate intonation. That's the ups and downs in pitch that help us convey meaning. You also want to make notes about sounds that are difficult for you to pronounce. By identifying sounds that are difficult, you'll know other areas, or you'll discover other areas where you need to practice. You'll also want to practice rhythm and syllable stress. In all of my lessons, the strongest syllable, or the syllable where you linger, that's what I call it, is written in bold capital letters, as you see here. The weakest syllable is always written in lowercase letters with a lighter font, as you see here. When you see a stressed syllable, the strongest syllable of a word, make the vowel louder, longer, and go up in pitch. When you see a weak syllable, the lowercase, weaker, lighter font, rush through that syllable, cut the vowel. So this is important to practice because syllable stress is probably, it is the number one reason that you're not being easily understood. So knowing how to stress a syllable and knowing how to and where to rush through a syllable is so important to being easily understood when you speak English. You know that I like to give you little tips as we practice pronunciation. So we're going to go through this list of words and phrases once, with me giving explanations. Then we're going to repeat the words, and you're simply going to listen and repeat. I'm not going to give you any explanation. Some of you really like to take the time. Some of you really just like to do the listen and repeat. I want to make sure that everyone has what they need to practice. So here we go with words that you might use at the drugstore or the pharmacy. So let's start with those two words. Drugstore. If you're having trouble with the D and the R together, which many people do, you can put a little sound in there just to make it a bit easier. Drugstore. 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 Good. Drugstore is a compound word, so you're going to stress both syllables pretty equally. Drugstore. That doesn't happen in most words, but in compound words, word is just two words put together to make a new word. It does happen. That's what happens to the syllable stress. Equal stress, both syllables. Drugstore. Good. Pharmacy. There's the tricky PH masquerading there. It looks like a PH, but it sounds like an F. Pharmacy. Pharmacy. Good. 3 compound words, so these will all get equal stress. Let's practice. Toothbrush. Toothpaste. Mouthwash. Good. Dental floss. You know already that Americans do weird things with T, but in this word, I do recommend that you actually pronounce the T as a true T, dental. You will hear various dialects in America say dental instead of dental, but I think for clarity's sake, what I do and what I want you to do, pronounce that T. When you have a single word and you've got an NT right between two vowels in the middle of the word, pronounce the T. It just adds some clarity. Other words, center, dental, winter. You'll hear people say center, dental, winter. It just sounds a little bit, not sloppy to me, but it makes it a little bit more difficult to understand. So NT in the middle of a word surrounded by two vowels, as you see here in dental, pronounce that T. Make sure it pops out. Dental floss. Nice. Now the next word, the T turns into a D. If you're using an American accent, it would be different for other people who speak English who don't live in North America. But in America, we turn that T into a D and say vitamins. 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 Good. And the S at the end is pronounced as a buzzing Z. You'll feel buzzing in your throat. Vitamins. Good. Cough drops. Another compound word, equal stress. Cough drops. Lozenges. That's a hard one. Probably I would say lozenges are basically cough drops. If you're asking for them at the drugstore, you can just say cough drops and they'll kind of know what you mean. But on the package, it says lozenges. So if you ever need to say that, here it is, lozenges. Epsom salts. Peroxide. That's a great word for rhythm. Really sit on the strongest syllable. Make that ah vowel louder and longer. Peroxide. Peroxide. That's too much, but do you hear how the pitch changes? Peroxide. 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 Good. Really rhythmic word. Okay. Rubbing alcohol. Calamine lotion. Calamine lotion is that pink stuff that you put on poison ivy to make it stop itching, but I remember it not working very well. But that's calamine lotion. Hydrocortisone cream. It's another ointment used to prevent itching. Hydrocortisone cream. And again, very rhythmic. A lot of syllables in the word hydrocortisone, right? So you have to find the rhythm. Hydrocortisone. Hydrocortisone. If you're making everything equal and hitting it all at the same pace, it's going to be very difficult to understand. So go for that strong syllable. Really make the vowel louder and longer. Hydrocortisone cream. Good. You might have to ask for that one. It's a hard word. It's a tricky word, but I've said that one out loud enough times to make it worth your practice. Moving on to painkillers. S at the end is a Z. Painkillers. Now, in English, probably in every language, but I'm going to tell you about English, we have a lot of brand names that become regular nouns, right? So Tylenol is a brand name for acetaminophen. I would never go into a drugstore and ask for acetaminophen. I know how to pronounce it. I mean, you might have to say it occasionally. I don't know. But I would ask for Tylenol. And there are a set of words. I'll do those in another lesson. I'll cover all of them. But things like Kleenex, that's a brand name for tissues. Q-tips are a brand name for cotton swabs. We have all of these brand names that actually are more commonly used than the actual noun. So this is one of them. There are a few in this lesson, and I'll put others into another lesson. But let's practice these, I think the next few slides, but definitely know how to say the more commonly used word for acetaminophen, Tylenol. Tylenol. Good. And then we can practice acetaminophen, but you won't have to say that one. Same thing here. Aspirin is the brand name for acetylsalicylic acid. Acetylsalicylic acid. I'm going to edit this out. Acetylsalicylic acid. Acetylsalicylic acid. You know what? I'm not going to edit it out. I want you to know that even native speakers cannot pronounce every word in the language. So you should not feel like you must know how to pronounce every word in the language. This acetylsalicylic acid, you won't need to say, but it's fun to practice. We're going to practice it for the rhythm. If you ever need it, you will want to ask for aspirin. 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 Good. Okay, just for fun, let's practice this one. Stress the strong syllables to make the word more rhythmic, and it also helps you pronounce it more easily. Connection rules really help here too, so think about connecting it all. Let's try it slowly and then we'll pick up the pace. Acetylsalicylic acid. Good. Again, slowly, and then we'll go faster. Repeat after me. Acetylsalicylic acid. Now, conversationally, let's see if I can do it, and then you can do it. Acetylsalicylic acid. Good. I had trouble pronouncing. You see how I worked through it. I said that word about, 10 times within this practice. And now when I look at it, acetylsalicylic acid, it's easy for me. This is the basis of improving your pronunciation, of changing your speech patterns. It's muscle. It's muscle memory. It's working the muscles the same way you'd learn a dance step, or learn how to swing a golf club, or learn how to throw a football, or learn how to type. When you do a repetitive motion, a repetition practice like we're doing now, when you do it over and over, your mouth remembers. And if you do it enough, your mouth does it without thinking about it. That's how we change our speech. So it doesn't matter what your native language is. Doesn't matter which accent or what type of pronunciation you're trying to learn. The key is repetition practice, and we all have to practice to learn new words, just like I did with acetylsalicylic acid, and now I can say it. So use that as you will. Maybe it's motivating, maybe it's not helpful at all, but repetition practice is the only way to change your speech. Okay, off my soapbox. That's an idiom for soapbox. Get off my soapbox is an idiom that means stop preaching, stop being a know-it-all, stop telling everyone what to do. So now I'm going to get off my soapbox and we're going to practice the word Advil. Advil. Advil is the brand name for ibuprofen. Ibuprofen. And now we're going to practice the common name antihistamines. You'll also hear people say, for the same reason that I explained in dental, you will hear maybe most people will lose that T and pronounce it the second way, antihistamine. I recommend going with the first one and saying anti. I think it adds clarity, but that's up to you. You can go with what feels more comfortable or what you hear. Let's practice them both. Antihistamines or antihistamines. And these next few words are all brand names for different antihistamines. Benadryl, Claritin, Zyrtec, Allegra, NyQuil. NyQuil, I'm not sure if NyQuil is an antihistamine. I forget. You can look that up. But in the word NyQuil, it's a medicine that puts you to sleep when you have a cold. It's a cold medicine and it helps you sleep. Equal stress on both syllables. It's treated like a compound word. NyQuil. NyQuil. Very nice. Let's practice an idiom, then we'll go through all of those words without my interruptions. An idiom is an expression or group of words which have a meaning that's not obvious by looking at the individual words. So basically, idioms are those common sayings that are used in a language. You have them in your native language as well. They're the common sayings and expressions that we all use to express ourselves in a more colorful and interesting way. They're important. So this idiom, the idiom for this week is a bitter pill to swallow. A bitter pill to swallow is an idiom that helps you describe something that's unpleasant but must be accepted. It's something that you didn't want to happen, but it happened, and there's nothing that anyone can do about it. For example, losing the election was a bitter pill to swallow. And follow my intonation as we practice that, because intonation is very important on idioms. A bitter pill to swallow. Do you hear the music in that? A bitter pill to swallow. I go down at the end, down in pitch. So try that sentence. Repeat after me. Losing the election was a bitter pill to swallow. Perfect. Let's go through our whole list of words, phrases, and our idiom. No interruption from me. Just listen and repeat. Drugstore. Pharmacy. Toothbrush. toothpaste, mouthwash, dental floss, vitamins, cough drops, lozenges, Epsom salts, peroxide, rubbing alcohol, calamine lotion, hydrocortisone cream, painkillers, Tylenol, acetaminophen, aspirin, acetylsalicylic acid. I got it. Yes. Advil, ibuprofen, antihistamines, Benadryl, Claritin, Zyrtec, Allegra, NyQuil, a bitter pill to swallow. Losing the election was a bitter pill to swallow. Okay, so that is our lesson on pharmacy, drugstore terms. I want you to practice with this lesson every day this week. Repeat the words and phrases out loud. After 1 week, the correct pronunciations will become automatic in your daily speech, and that's exactly what we want. Repetition practice is the only way to permanently improve your spoken English. Thank you so much for practicing with me today, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time at the Accent Channel.